everyone, it's your girl Shay here, and I'm back with another video for you guys. And as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be doing a review on Avengers Endgame. And yes, this will be a spoiler filled review, so if you have not yet seen Avengers Endgame, don't watch this video because it will spoil the entire movie for you, or at least a lot of the major plot points of it. So letting you guys know that now. So anyway, yes, this weekend I saw Avengers Endgame, and I saw it not once, not twice, but I saw it 3 times in theaters. That's right, 9 hours and 6 minutes of my life are now gone because I spent it watching this movie, and I utterly enjoyed it. As you guys know, Avengers Endgame is pretty much the sequel and the ending of Phase 3 for the MCU universe, and it is the sequel to Avengers Infinity War. And at the end of Avengers Infinity War, we basically saw a lot of our favorite characters get dusted, and now in Avengers Endgame, we see what are the remaining Avengers basically trying to figure out how to get everyone back. Now, along with that, we see 2 characters returning, which were not in Avengers Infinity War, which was, of course, Ant-Man, whom is played by Paul Rudd, and we have Hawkeye also coming back, who is played by Jeremy Renner, and of course, we have the introduction of Carol Danvers, also known as Captain Marvel, whom is played by Brie Larson. Now, I have to honestly say, I enjoyed this movie so much. The movie even starts off with a bang, which you see in Hawkeye's family get dusted, and that kind of like starts the ball rolling. They start trying to figure out where the rest of the stones are. You realize that Pepper Potts has not been dusted, and that made Tony Stark very happy. You have Thor actually chops off Thanos' head because they try and go after him again, because they're like, let's just get the stones and then just snap everybody back. But that doesn't happen because Thanos destroys the stones, which puts them in a little bit of a pickle because they've killed Thanos at this point, and they still don't have any stones. So they had the whole 5-year time skip thing, and you finally have the introduction of Paul Rudd's character. You have Ant-Man, who brings up the whole thing of the quantum realm and them doing basically a time heist to get the stones in the past to subsequently help them in the present. So that's pretty much what most of the movie is about, is them trying to get these stones as well, and as well as the drama that kind of comes along with them trying to get it. You of course have some huge major, I hate to say it, deaths in this movie. You have Natasha Romanoff actually dying, whom is also Black Widow, who was played by Scarlett Johansson. They have where her and Hawkeye actually go to get the Soul Stone, and they are met by the Red Skull, and then he basically tells them the same thing that he told Thanos, which was that they have to basically sacrifice someone that they love. You see Hawkeye and Black Widow basically fight to basically determine whom that's going to be. Black Widow ultimately wins/loses, I guess, and pretty much she is the one that sacrifices herself for the Soul Stone, which thoroughly hurts all the Avengers because they did not want to lose her. Also, you have the loss of Iron Man as well. Towards the end of Infinity War, you have where Iron Man actually gets all 5 of the Infinity Stones, or 6 of the Infinity Stones actually, from Thanos, and he snaps his fingers with the words of "I am Iron Man," and basically dusts Thanos and all of his people as well, and basically saves the world, and that is the end of Iron Man. One of the things I also want you guys to know is there's actually 2 snaps in this film. There's one actually done by Hulk once they actually get all the stones, and that's the one that brings everybody back. And then the second one is actually done by Tony Stark, which actually gets rid of Thanos. There are so many also unanswered questions though about this entire series, or this movie per se. One of my favorite parts though, before I get into the unanswered parts of it, is everyone was so excited to see Captain America get Mjolnir. They were so excited. He finally was worthy enough to pick it up, and he smashed the crap out of Thanos, and that was my favorite part of that entire movie. Besides actually seeing Spider-Man come back, that was my favorite part, was to see Captain America kick his butt. That was so cool. Also, of course, during the film, you of course see everybody come back, which is also a momentous moment as well. And you also see, of course, there's also the loss, I hate to say it, of the retirement of Captain America, of Steve Rogers, whom is played, of course, by Chris Evans. We all knew that this was coming because we all knew that he was going to retire the character. And what he decides to do is he's the one chosen to take the Infinity Stones back into their places in the past to basically fix all the like little time things that they might have done because of them taking them. And then subsequently, when he decides to stay in the past and live out his life and actually marry Margaret. And it's so cute because you see him as a little old man, and he then passes on the role of Captain America to Falcon, whom Sam, as maybe you guys know, and whom is voiced or played by Anthony Mackie. And it was so sweet. Just such a sweet moment. One of the unanswered questions that I actually had was, number one, you see Ant-Man come back and his truck is in like a weird like garage. How does he get his truck? Because they never actually say how he got his truck. Also, of course, one of the other things I had is, how does Peter Parker, Spider-Man, go back to school when he got dusted and it's 5 years later? So how is he back at school with his friends unless his friends were also dusted? I don't know. So many unanswered questions. That was some of them. That's actually most of them that I had. Now, as far as I have to say, as far as what I thought was the better things about this movie, besides all of the action and everything else, was also the character development of some very specific characters. So one of the characters I felt shined the most was definitely Ant-Man, Paul Rudd's character, because all of us know Ant-Man as being just really funny and like around his hero, so he's like starstruck. But in reality, during this movie, you actually see him very like serious at moments. There's a moment where they actually confront Tony Stark about them doing this whole like time heist kind of thing, is what they decide to call this. And at this point, Tony has a daughter, and he's married to Pepper, and he has this life that he doesn't want to give up. And Ant-Man understands. So he's like, I get it. He's like, I know how this is. I have a daughter, but everyone else has lost people as well, and we have a chance to bring them back. And he was so serious about it, and I feel like him having those very serious moments really brought out his character. They were utterly amazing. And plus, he kind of saved the entire movie because he brought up the whole thing of going back in time and getting the time stones to now help them now. I feel like another character that I loved, their character development, was, of course, Natasha Romanoff / Black Widow, whom, like I've already said, is played by Scarlett Johansson. I felt like, because she actually mentions that the Avengers are the only family that she has, and they're her everything. And she's now, once it's like the 5-year skip, she's like trying to keep all this alive as much as she can. She's trying to keep it alive, but you can tell it's just weighing on her, and you can tell she's just really stressed. And seeing that part of her that's very like not gentle, but where her heart is just very open, and you can just see the emotion on her face. And even though she can come off as kind of like emotionless due to like her being an assassin and a fighter, but having her in these moments where she was just all emotion and crying at some points, that was so refreshing to see, and I utterly really enjoyed it. I enjoyed those two characters' development the most. The one I enjoyed the least was probably Thor. So you see Thor coming back, but he's rocking a dad bod. He has a beer belly because all he's been doing is playing Fortnite and drinking beer after the whole like killing of Thanos, and he's dealing with a lot of failure. So for me, his character development wasn't big. If anything, I feel like he was more of an annoying character. I didn't enjoy him as much in the movie just because of the fact of what he was going through. And I think that's just because of a stark contrast of what his personality is usually like. But he does brings up a great topic of like how one or a superhero deals with failure and deals with not being what they're supposed to be, and they want to be something else. So he brought up that like neat little conversation, and he has a great conversation with his mom when they go into the past, where he is finally able to, like, he talks to her. And I know in the movie, she knows that he's from the future, and they have this really deep conversation, and it was very sweet to see. But his attitude in the movie was in some points very desperate, because he wanted to be the one to snap his fingers when Hulk was ultimately the one that did it. He wanted to do it just because he wanted to do something right, and that was literally what he said. But I didn't really like that. As far as like Iron Man and Captain America, I felt like most of their like personalities were pretty much the same. They've always been, at least in Captain America's case, have been kind of one note. But I feel like Captain America definitely lightened up a lot more in this movie. There's a part where he's like fighting himself when there's the whole taking over, or the Battle of New York, when they go into the past to get 3 of the stones, and he has to fight himself. And when he gets punched by his former self in 2012, his former self goes, "I could do this all day," and you can hear, and then President Captain America goes, I know. You could tell he's just so like, I know, like, stop it, you're annoying. And that was actually really cool, actually very, very funny to also see. But you see him kind of like lighten up just a little bit. But that was pretty much what I just loved about this movie. And overall, I just thought it was utterly amazing. And for a lot of you guys who are watching this and have already seen it, know that there is no ending credits scene. And it was fitting that there wasn't. I felt like if they would have put an ending scene, it would have not felt right, just because it is the end of an era. I mean, it's 11 years of 22 movies, and now we're having an ending until they start phase 4. And I have to say, it is definitely a movie that you cannot miss out on. I feel like if you've seen the rest of the MCU movies, you have to watch this one, because it just is the perfect ending, the perfect send-off for a lot of our favorite characters. And it's interesting that they ended it the way that they did, and I love how they ended it. I'm not gonna lie, I cried all 3 times that I watched this movie, and I'm not ashamed to say that I cried. It was just so sweet. And yeah, I really just enjoy it. I can't gush about this movie enough. Like, there's nothing bad I can really say about this movie. The only thing bad I really said was about the character development of certain characters. But once you think about what they're going through, you understand why they are the way that they are, especially during this movie, like with Thor and things like that. One of the things overall that I do know many of you guys are probably excited about is, as of right now, there are no talks of what's going to be a part of phase 4. Maybe I'll do another video about that later, about what people think are going to happen for phase 4 for this MCU universe. I know we have 2 movies to look forward to, or definitely mostly just one movie to really look forward to, and that is Spider-Man Far From Home. There's other movies that are in talks, or like are in the works, but we don't have a date for those ones, such as Guardians of the Galaxy 3, as well as the Black Widow prequel. We don't have any like thoughts about that or anything just yet, but Spider-Man Far From Home is the next one. I think that's the first one that actually takes place after the whole Endgame saga, so that'll be an interesting movie to see, and I'm really excited for it. But overall, what did you guys think of this movie? Did you guys love it? Were you guys excited for it? How many times have you seen it? If you've seen it more than once, like I said, I saw it 3 times, and I'm not opposed to going more. Let me know, like, what was your favorite moment in Endgame? Like I said, mine was Captain America picking up Mjolnir. That was my part. I loved it so much. But yeah, let me know, comment down below, let me know what you thought of the movie. Let me know what your thoughts are, or your predictions for phase 4 for the MCU universe. I am so excited for this, y'all don't even know, I'm so excited for this. So yeah, let me know, comment down below, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I will leave links down below to all my social media accounts, my Instagram, my Twitter, and my blog as well, so please be sure to check those out too. And like I always say to you guys, stay positive and be nerdy. And because I want to end this video, like they said in Endgame, from the words of Tony Stark, I love you 3000. All right, you guys. Bye.